Hey everyone, welcome to Things Lucy Reads. I'm Luce and this is a review video. Today I'm going to be reviewing Anatomy of a Misfit by Andrea Portes, which I read as part of a travelling book thing. I've explained what a travelling book is before, but if you don't know, I will put my announcement video down below and you can find out more about it there. Okay, so this book is about a girl called Annika Dragomir, and she's in year 10 at school, 10th grade. And she is the third most popular girl. So the reason that she's the third most popular girl is so that the first most popular girl doesn't completely destroy her school career. Annika is half Romanian. Her parents aren't together anymore. I can't remember the exact state she lives in, but she lives somewhere in the Midwest with her mum and her stepdad and the rest of her siblings. And her dad divides his time between Romania and Princeton University and kind of calls in occasionally and says very funny things in his Romanian accent. Yeah, so she's part Romanian, so she thinks that that's a really bad thing, and that if she wasn't friends with Becky, who's the most popular girl in school, then she would be, you know, ostracized, basically. It's her kind of struggling with her identity and her family, and also just trying to make her way in life, I guess. She calls herself Spider Stew, but it's not as bad as all that. She's actually a good person who just does some really stupid things. But yeah, and then there's these two guys that she kind of has a thing for. One who used to be the biggest outcast in school and then kind of came back and was cool again, and the other one is like the prom king, the most sought after boy in the whole school, and they both want to go out with her. So she goes out with both of them to try and decide which one she wants. That's the book. It was pretty good. It certainly had its moments. I loved Annika's dad. He was unintentionally really funny. And her mum was a great character as well, and just I think every character in this was kind of well placed. They each had their part to play in the story and they did it really well, and it was written really well. I had no problems with the writing style. I flew through it. It was really easy to read, but I only gave it 3 stars because it kind of felt a little bit flat for me. I cared about the characters, but I wasn't really emotionally invested in them as much as I should have been. And also, this may be a bit spoilery, but I think it needs to be said. One of the boys has a really shitty family life. His dad is abusive and he's grown up spending his whole life protecting his mum and his brothers from his dad. One of the times when he's hanging out with Annika, they go to this place where they shouldn't be, and the keeper of the place kind of comes over and says, "What are you doing here?" And so they go to leave, and then the guy who tells them to leave makes a not very nice comment about Annika of a sexual nature. So the guy beats the shit out of him, and they just doesn't hit him once, hits him more than once while he's lying on the ground. Understandably, Annika is freaked out by this, as she should be, and the guy eventually comes to his senses and stops doing it. They don't call an ambulance. They don't check to see if the guy is actually dead or not. They just go. And so, understandably, like I said, Annika is freaked out about this. She's not too excited at the idea of hanging out with him again, but spends the rest of the book missing him. And the guy comes around to, you know, take her somewhere, and she says, "Sorry, I can't," which is a lie. She just doesn't want to go. And he's like, "Oh, what, don't you want to hang out with me?" I said, I just lost control. And it didn't really realize that what he's done was very serious. He thought that he could brush it off by just saying, "I'm sorry, I lost control." And it kind of bothered me. I realized that that's the situation that he's grown up in. And I think this is such a difficult topic to have in a YA book because you have to handle it extremely carefully. You have to have the protagonist react like a teenage protagonist would, but you have to be careful at the message that you're sending the readers. He nearly killed someone. And there's a lot of, Annika thinking that, if she was a good person, she would give him the benefit of the doubt and hang out with him again and still be his friend. No. An abusive person cannot be fixed with love. It is not your responsibility to fix them with love. And she spent too much of the book being remorseful and guilty about how she treated the guy for that message to come across. So that really, really bothered me, actually, and that was the reason I gave it such a low rating, because he was made out to still be a good guy who had issues instead of someone who was turning into his father. I think it was already too late for him. This could be harsh, but I'm not going to apologize because this is how I feel. Like, you can't have this kind of message in a YA book, that if someone has an abusive family, anything they do that's abusive is justified, because that's not true. And I don't know if that was Andrea's intent. Maybe it wasn't, but that's how it came across. I don't recommend it because of that, because that's no, not a good message to be sending to teenagers. It was a really fun thing to do, to read it as a traveling book. I think I enjoyed it more because of that than I ordinarily would have, and it was fun to read everyone else's comments and kind of leave my own. And yeah, I hope I can do another traveling book again in future, because it really was a lot of fun. So yeah, that is all from this video, and I will see you when I see you. Bye everyone.